What's up, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Welcome back to the DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is the most requested story. It was the most requested by a mile. And that is the news, speculation, and controversy of an assault on one of the largest creators here on YouTube by another massively large person here on YouTube. And the two creators involved in this story are TheGabbieShow and Ricegum. And before we move any further, understand the reason I'm talking about this isn't because, yay, YouTube drama, I love that. No, I hate YouTube drama. The reason I'm talking about this is YouTube is no longer a little playground. Anytime either of these two put something out, they reach either 1 to 6 million people. And depending on what actually happened in this situation, we have either an assault, an exaggeration, a hoax, or just straight up slander. So that's why, other than it being the most requested story, I will talk about it. So if you don't know, these two creators have history. Ricegum makes a lot of roast/bash videos, and he did one on Gabbie. And he by no means was the only creator making bash videos on Gabbie. She had her own controversy. Most of it was around her stealing jokes. But fast forward to last night, Gabbie realizes she's at the same party as Ricegum, and she decides to Snapchat.
Ricegum is here, and I know that I want to challenge him to a battle, but I know he won't do it, and it's Alex's birthday, so I don't want to ruin the party, you know what I mean? Honestly, if Ricegum ever wants to live freestyle battle, drop a beat right now, bitch, I'll murder you. Hey Ricegum, I just challenged you to a live battle on Snapchat. Would you do it?
No.
Live rap battle. Why wouldn't you do it?
I don't want to do it.
Alright, so Rice doesn't have his ghostwriter today. It's fine. I think we can still battle. I think we're good. No? You don't want to do it?
And then the next Snapchat, Gabbie says something happened off camera.
So update, sorry if it looks like I'm crying. Ricegum didn't think that joke was very funny, and he hit me in the middle of a party and shattered my phone. I can show you that in a sec. Everybody's like, did he hit you? And I was like, yeah, he did. And my phone is broken, the screen is broken, the back camera is broken. So I need to get a new phone.
Also showing a video and photo of the scratches she said she received from Ricegum. And then she went on to say that there was actually more to it as well.
And let's say, because I don't have any photo evidence, just like eyewitnesses, of him grabbing me, holding me down, and hitting me, and twisting my arm, he still shattered my phone.
Now from this, there was of course a big reaction. There were many people who instantly started bashing on Ricegum, saying how dare this guy, he's a woman beater. Others defending Ricegum, saying that Gabbie was getting in his face. Others saying because we don't have footage of it actually happening, how do we know she's not lying? So I of course wanted to find out a little bit more. I reached out to both of them. As of recording this video, only Gabbie responded. She showed her phone was indeed cracked. In her Snapchat, she also said she wanted Ricegum to pay for her phone, and she sent me screenshots of her receiving that money. So this seems to support, at the very least, that he did destroy her phone. And she went on to explain how that phone was broken, claiming he was aggressive and violent. He twisted my arm when I said the ghostwriter joke, stood up, twisted my arm, and held me down. He kept trying to pry my phone out of my hands, and I kept holding on, so he forcefully pushed and grabbed at me to get it, and then slammed it down as hard as he could and stormed out. And that seemed to be a big point that she was trying to get across. She doesn't want this to seem like she's just doing it for attention. Adding that she was only responding to me because she said she didn't want to talk to the drama channels because then it would seem like she was trying to get attention and cause drama. But she said she wanted to make sure that people knew what actually happened and not the crazy stories that Ricegum punched Gabbie in the face. Although he did tweet publicly, I did not hit a girl, laugh my ass off, this bitch is tripping. We're talking about a person who's built a career off of exaggerating and lying about stories for money. This is exactly what she wants. Fuck this girl and all this fake shit. Ask anyone at that party. Video up later today. I would say to me personally, it sounds like Ricegum's gonna say I didn't hit her. Gabbie seemingly has been trying to re-clarify that when she said hit, she meant that he was manhandling her, pushed her down. That's why she has scratches, not bruises. And as of right now, that's where the situation ends. Without getting a response from Ricegum right now, it doesn't look that great for him. The payment sent to Gabbie can be seen as an admission of guilt, admission of fault. At the very least, that seems to support the narrative that he grabbed and cracked her phone, and the marks and scratches seem to go along with Gabbie's story of being aggressively handled by Ricegum. But it is important to separate and note that there was no admission of that part in the Venmo. And finally, to the argument of, well, she shouldn't have gone over to him, she shouldn't have gotten in his face, she shouldn't have started talking shit. The way I see it is if you're going to talk shit online like Ricegum does, you need to be able to take it in real life as well. If you're not able to take those words in real life, you're just a laptop gangster. And if your response to words and jokes, which are a response to your words and your jokes, is to escalate it into the physical, you look like you're doing the wrong thing. But I'm also gonna pass that question off to you. What do you think about this? Even if you don't care about the ins and outs of the YouTube community, consider it a person A, person B scenario. What's your takeaway from this story? I'd love to know. But from that, I wanna share some stuff I love today and awesome. And the first bit of awesome, hopefully, we just got a trailer for the reboot of It, and it brought out some old feelings that I had pushed down inside. Now, I don't know how it'll actually hold up, but I always say that the today and awesome part, it's the optimism optimistic, hopeful part of me. So about 4% of what makes a Philip DeFranco. It's likely that I will not like it as much, but that's because I watched it when I was a kid. You know, that top tier emotional scarring stage. I feel like for me it lasted a little longer than some. I remember after the first time I watched the movie The Ring, I think it was a midnight showing, I went home, I unplugged my TV and my phone. I want to be that scared again. Then Destiny fans rejoice. Really, Dad, I'm just talking to you. You're a video game addict, and rather than FaceTiming me and your grandson, you're always going on Destiny raids, playing The Division, or just another game that's not Rocket League so you don't play games with me. The main point, we got a Destiny 2 teaser. Get pumped to buy that game and then also to buy a bunch of DLC. Then we got a teaser for Louis C.K.'s new special. It's gonna be out on Netflix on April 4th. And I gotta say, if the material in this special is some of the stuff that I saw him saying a few months ago, I can't wait to see if people get offended because the stuff he said, whew, Dave Chappelle's problematic jokes, they don't hold a candle to that. And the final bit of awesome is we posted a brand new behind the scenes vlog. You watch it if you wanna just see me slowly lose my mind. It's a great time. If that doesn't sound appealing, just skip it. And if you wanna see the full version of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. And then I want to talk about an update to something we talked about last year. You might remember back in November of last year, there was an 18-year-old girl by the name of Alexandra Kefren who said, I want to sell my virginity. She started working with a group called Cinderella Escorts to auction it off. There was a lot of outrage around this story. There were people defending her, saying that everyone was slut-shaming. Well, the new update to this story is Alexandra has reportedly accepted a bid of £2 million. The bid is reportedly from a Hong Kong businessman. Alexandra won't actually receive the full $2 million though. She'll get 1.6 because 20% goes to Cinderella. And so with this story coming back in the news, of course, that means there's more hate going towards Alexandra, and there's also people defending her again. And so here's what I'll say. This story bothers me, but maybe not for the reason that you think. I personally have no problem with this woman auctioning off her virginity. I am of the mindset of even if I would never use the services, a woman has a right to do with her body as she pleases, as long as she is doing what she wants to do. She's not being forced or coerced. She should be allowed to do whatever she wants. If prostitution was legalized, it could be a lot safer. And I also think it could do real damage to the very real problem of sex trafficking. My only problem with this is £2 million? I don't care if you have billions of dollars. That is insane. Dear Hong Kong businessman, why? Let me inform you on something basketball stars, Saudi princes, and Dan Bilzerian figured out a long time ago. You can get pretty much 90% of whatever you want off of Instagram if you offer travel and or a shout out. Once again, I'm not about that life, but facts are facts. But that's where I'm gonna leave it because I don't want to rat out specific people. £2 million for her virginity. I don't want to equate women to objects, which is, oh my God, just realizing a horrible way to start a sentence. But while I don't want to equate women to objects, the only analogy I can think of is this is very much like you saying, I want to buy a car. As long as it looks like a Lambo to me, that's all that matters. I don't care what's under the hood. And actually, that analogy doesn't even make sense because you're not buying the car. You're paying £2 million to test drive a car off the factory floor. And also, you're kind of just taking the salesman's word that this is a factory fresh vehicle. But that's really the only annoyance I have in this. It's more of like a financial annoyance than a real problem. You have two consenting adults doing things, there's an exchange. People can do with their bodies and their money as they please. I just needed to go on a mini rant real quick. And then I want to talk about this story coming out of Oklahoma. There's a big controversy around it, which I don't understand, but I want to explain the situation and then give my opinion. So the story is this week in Oklahoma, these three teenagers tried to rob a home. They were armed with brass knuckles and a knife. They had ski masks on. They were decked out in black. They break the window, they break into the home, and inside the home is the son of the homeowner. The son had a gun and he shot and killed the burglars. And as of reporting this story, authorities said they had not determined if the shooter would face any charges. Although when looking at this story, there were a lot of people saying that he should be held accountable. He did not have to shoot that gun. And that's where I have to throw in my opinion because that is ridiculous to me. This exact instance is why I'm pro-gun. This is home defense. This is 1 against 3 armed robbers. They broke into the home with the intention to steal or harm. Once again, they were armed. The son may have been worried that they were going to bum rush him, take his weapon, use it against him. And ultimately what I personally see here is a person who defended themselves. They defended their home, and I don't understand why we try to villainize every single person who prevents themselves from being a victim. Am I happy these 3 people aged 16 to 18 are dead? No. Do I feel like they put themselves in that situation and the way that everything happened, it's understandable? Yes. There were people saying, yeah, well, he had an automatic weapon. Please, if you're gonna have a conversation about this, do research on the AR-15. There's so much misinformation and misunderstanding about that weapon in particular. People often confuse the AR-15 with M16s and M4s. They look very similar, very different guns. Now, what I will say is there's a more understandable second debate point on this story, and that is because there was a fifth person involved. You're the three burglars who were killed, the homeowner's son, and the getaway driver, 21-year-old Elizabeth Rodriguez. She turned herself into police and she was arrested on 1 count of first-degree burglary, 1 count of second-degree burglary, and this is the big one, 3 counts of felony first-degree murder. And the reason for that is under the law, if someone conspires to commit a felony and someone is killed during that, you are responsible for that murder. The idea being, let's say you and several friends decide to rob a store. During that, someone is shot and killed. Even if you didn't pull the trigger, you are considered responsible. You are the reason this whole situation is happening. And that's what makes this case interesting, because the only people hurt in this instance were the people committing the crime. They were killed. So even though the person that pulled the trigger was defending themselves, should the other criminal, the getaway driver, be charged with murder? I'm very interested about the debate around this, and that's why I want to pass the question on to you. What do you guys think? Does it make sense? Do you think it's overreaching? Also, do you agree or disagree with me when it came to the homeowner defending his home? I'd love to know your thoughts here, because while I have my opinion, I do not believe that I am infallible. Everyone's got their own thoughts, and I want to know yours. And then let's talk about a few political things. Remember this week when I talked about the Senate, specifically Senate Republicans, voting to reverse a landmark FCC privacy rule? A move that, in my opinion, stripped away consumer choice and really hurt the free market. If you need to understand why, go back and watch the Monday video. But the one hope was that people were going to call their representatives, the House would go, you know what? People are going to want this privacy rule to be put into place. Let's not strip it. Well, House Republicans also voted to gut the rule, and now it's going to be sent off to Donald Trump. So there you have it. ISPs won't even have to ask you if it's okay if they track what you're doing online and then they sell that information. And of course, to the question of, well, why would they do this? There is the argument some people have that they think that this is innovation stifling. It hurts the corporations. The government shouldn't be involved. And then there's also all this. All of this money sent to people in the House and the Senate from the communications industry. Maybe that had something to do with it. And then let's talk about Donald Trump. Trump, of course, made news yesterday when he signed a long-promised executive order, the one that essentially nullified Barack Obama's climate change initiative. And this was cheered on and hated by the groups that you'd expect. Obama's Clean Power Plan would have reportedly closed hundreds of coal-fired plants, frozen construction of new plants, and replaced them with vast new wind and solar farms. So obviously the winners there are the corporations and then the people that work for those corporations. And the losers under this Trump executive order, you have the companies behind those solar and wind farms, the people who would have worked there, and environmentalists just in general being angry about this, saying it's not just about jobs, you have to think about the planet. There's also a lot more to it. Consider that a surface level explanation. I'll link to a bunch of sources about it so you can boost your own knowledge on the subject. At this time, I don't personally feel that I am equipped enough on this subject to do a deep dive. And the last thing I want to do is blow smoke up your ass. But the last thing I want to talk about, it's just a pet peeve of mine. There's this continually repeated lie/misrepresentation of the situation out there, and it's just annoying because people that see the tweets or just read the headlines, they go, oh yeah, that's true. And that's Donald Trump and the New York Times. And I'm not even gonna get into the whole thing, Donald Trump saying the failing New York Times, even though his presidency is boosted subscription. Not talking about that. It's just this continuation of this narrative that he started November 13th and is repeated multiple times, including today. On November 13th, he tweeted, the New York Times sent a letter to their subscribers apologizing for their bad coverage of me. I wonder if it will change. Doubt it. And today tweeting, remember when the failing New York Times apologized to its subscribers right after the election because their coverage was so wrong? Now worse. If you've watched this show for a while, you know I try to give Donald Trump, the right, the left, everyone a fair shot. But this thing he keeps pushing, it's just untrue. The New York Times, who I have in the past had a problem with. On November 13th, they released a letter to their readers, and at no point did they say their coverage was wrong, bad. They did not apologize. They said, after such an erratic and unpredictable election, there are inevitable questions. Did Donald Trump's sheer unconventionality lead us and other news outlets to underestimate his support among American voters? As we reflect on the momentous result and the months of reporting and polling that preceded it, we aim to rededicate ourselves to the fundamental mission of Times journalism. That is to report America and the world honestly, without fear or favor, striving always to understand and reflect all political perspectives and life experiences in the stories that we bring to you. It is also to hold power to account impartially and unflinchingly. You can rely on the New York Times to bring the same fairness, the same level of scrutiny, the same independence of our coverage of the new president and his team. They're saying, wow, what a crazy election. Also a note to you, we are going to still keep doing more of the same. Now you can have issue with the New York Times, you think that they're 100% liars, maybe they just get stuff wrong sometimes, they lie a little bit. They're the gospel, they're the truth, whatever your opinion is. Nothing in that is an apology, them saying that they were bad, that they were wrong. They were saying, did we underestimate? Because yes, the New York Times famously had a poll where they predicted that Hillary Clinton had a 90% plus chance of winning. Although then that starts a debate of, well, does that even mean they were really wrong? The polls didn't say she will win, they said that she'll probably win. There's a high percentage chance, but the other outcome, there's a chance. And that's just the statistical truth of predictions, whether it be a presidential race or all of the championships, apparently. That's where I'm gonna end that one, and actually that's where I'm gonna end today's show. Of course, whether it be about the last thing I talked about, the first thing, anything in between, I'd love to know your opinion. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that little bell thing for when notifications aren't broken so you get an update when I post these daily videos. Also, if you missed yesterday's DeFranco show, you want to catch up, you can click or tap right there to watch that. If you want to see today's brand new behind the scene vlog, you can click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.